Devils Sunday. This is the Let's Go Devils podcast where we live rent-free in your head all day, all night, 24/7, 365. Streaming live on Facebook Live, YouTube Live, X Live, and Twitch on the Let's Go Devils Network. Coming to you live from the Primetime Radio Studios inside the bunker in an undisclosed location in beautiful New Jersey and the highest point of the Garden State to Scotty's Beverly Hills Michael J. Fox Studios.
Oh,
yeah, baby.
Hey!
Presented by And Crew Brew. And Crew Brew, where we celebrate, I don't know, victories of other teams to knock out other teams. And go to joinourcrew.com for more information.
Mm-hmm. I wish I had a And Crew Brew to celebrate.
I forgot the slogan. I'm still off of
That's
LTIR.
okay.
I'm
That's
a
okay.
little rusty right now. I'm just practicing. I'm in my practice jersey. No contact jersey right now.
It takes a couple games to get into game speed.
Yeah.
You know that.
Yeah.
I do wish I had an And Crew Brew to celebrate the Panthers' victory last night.
Just the Panthers' victory. That's all we're saying.
just the Panthers' victory.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They mauled them.
Yeah.
They mauled them.
Mauled who? Who did they maul?
I don't know. They went for the jugular, and then they took the prey behind the barn and finished them off.
Yep. Yeah, well. Well, I guess they can revoke the certificate of the CO, the certificate of occupancy for MSG for the summer, because Dolan doesn't need it.
Yeah.
Knicks and Rangers both out. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can sniff some asbestos in July.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations to the Panthers. I mean, they put on a dominating performance.
Oh my gosh.
Throughout that conference finals.
Oh,
I
big
mean,
time.
just if it wasn't for that goaltender there, I think this game would have been well out of control. This series would have been well out of control in favor of the old Cats. So, good for Florida. I mean, they looked like a beast out there. And let the Devils take notice, play defense, get tough, hit some people, and it can do you wonders when you play the right way like that.
Without a doubt. It was, I want to say it was game one that the Panthers won big. I believe they started that series off with a win. That was the first time I really watched and noticed up close the Panthers forecheck and how stifling their forecheck is. It's just two guys, sometimes a third, cycling down low immediately on the puck. That's exhausting hockey. So you have to be in damn good shape to play that type of hockey, to be continuously in there. And I think they were talking about at one point with the Panthers and their shifts were like 30 seconds or less. They were off, they were on, they were off. They were on, they were off. If you're going to play that style of hockey, you have to be in such good shape, but you also need a coaching staff that the team is going to listen to when they say 25 seconds, you're off the ice. 25 seconds, you have to listen to that coach. Otherwise, you could get your ass kicked or you could miss a shift. So that's another key thing. Like that team is dialed in on that style of play, and they're listening to their coaching staff. If the coaching staff says 20-second shift, guess what? 21 seconds is too long. And that's just what that team has. And they're all in there. They all are bought in on the same single goal of winning the Stanley Cup, and they're going to win it in a certain way. And that's the way that they're playing. And, like you said, the Devils got to take notice. Fitzgerald should take notice that someone with the last name of Bennett is available, or is potentially available, come this offseason.
Unless they let Reinhart walk, which can't see them doing that. They're going to have to cut some salary somewhere, and holy hell, would Sam Bennett look great in a Devils uniform next year.
Oh, my gosh. He would look fantastic. and I would love to have him.
He's got a good name too. Good first name. Both Reinhard and Bennett. I approve. No relation. All right. In all seriousness, it is a copycat league, and looking at the Panthers, no pun intended, that you look at that team last season. This season, I mean, Matthew Tkachuk is locked in. He's locked in. There's no fooling around with the Florida Panthers right now, and you watch them progress. They're just solid. We talk about goaltending. We talk about defense. You just talked about their forecheck, and it just top to bottom, the team is so solid. And one thing that I've noticed, when mistakes are made, there's somebody back there to help out a teammate and recover. It's just so it's so fun to watch because mistakes are going to happen. You can't expect players. I mean, the puck bounces a certain way.
No team is perfect.
Yeah, no team. And it's just I would love Tom Fitzgerald to take a hard look at the Panthers, the way they're built. And the first thing that strikes to me is the beefalytics, the beef that the team has. And they're fearless. Like Rodriguez, I mean, I can't say it on air, but he's a little you-know-what. He's relentless. And he's just nonstop. The motor doesn't stop with these guys. And you just alluded to that about the hard forecheck. Quick shifts. They're on, off, Shorts guy.
Yep.
And that's what this Devils team, like Sheldon Keefe, in Toronto, I mean, they are very aggressive. They played very aggressive on the forecheck. But can they last? Is it sustainable? And I think the Devils may have had a problem with that with Lindy Ruff.
Kind of reminds me of a certain Devils team that won a Stanley Cup. We have a coach that went on a tirade in Paul Maurice, much like Larry Robinson did. And we had a team that really kicked it into gear and was fearless and played hard and tough and was there, defense, supportive. They scored big, timely goals. They had some big-time scores. They had unbelievable, solid goaltending. Reminds me of a certain team that beat a Dallas Stars team back there.
Who, by the way, is currently losing.
They are.
It was when I first looked at the score when we started the podcast, it was 2-0 Edmonton, and I think Edmonton had 4 shots.
Yeah.
That's not good. That's not good for Ottinger. Now, this is not having seen the shots. They could be 2 snipes out of those 4 shots. But and then Dallas had 14. It was like, wow. So we may be looking at a Florida Edmonton final.
Could be, which would be woof.
I'd love to have the frequent flyer mileage out of that one.
Yeah, right. That's a long trip.
Edmonton scored 2 power play goals.
That'll do it.
I think the first goal was the first shot of the game against Ottinger, and it was McDavid just putting it past. I
mean, when the first shooter of the game is McDavid, like I can understand that going in, but you definitely don't ever want. I don't want to say you don't ever want to let up the first shot, but it's not ideal. But sometimes letting up the first shot could be in a roundabout way, like, all right, well, the first goal's out of the way. Now I can focus. I don't have at least for me, maybe I'm just a weird backwards goalie, but if you let one, I know it's not great to let one in early, but for me, letting one early was like, all right, well, there goes the pressure of the shutout, so I can just play a little bit more relaxed right now. And that pressure wasn't there, and I would tend to play really well when after that. So that's just me. That's just maybe the way I rationalize letting one in early occasionally, but it's definitely not the best thing to let in the first shot, and especially if it's McDavid shooting on you. I mean, I've never had a McDavid style shot, so I'm sure it would go right through my glove. But it's still it's Ottinger that's in net, so he should be able to stop it because he's played pretty historically he's played pretty well against Edmonton, but he is not. I'm curious if maybe there's some kind of an injury with him or if there's something up with him because he's not playing well in the last 2 games, at least this game and the last game.
He's had some shaky moments so far in this playoff run, I feel like. There were a couple times, even in the first round, where I was like, man, I thought the Stars were going to blow it in the first round against Colorado. Yeah.
Second round, too. It was, that's one of those things. And they were talking about it in regards.
Stars, did they play Vegas first?
Yeah, they played Vegas.
They played Vegas, then Colorado.
Then Colorado, yeah.
Yeah.
But they were even talking about it in regards to the Panther series, how the blue team across the river were so reliant on Shesterkin, but their top players could not bail him out like he was bailing them out consistently. And that's what a good forward core has to do occasionally. You have to bail your goalie out because we're not perfect. We're head cases, and we occasionally have flops of games. But if you become so reliant that you need your goalie to make 55 saves a game, I hate to tell you, but it's not always going to work.
That's not a recipe for success.
No, it's not a recipe for success. You have to bail your goalie out at times. And I'll tell you, from the goalie standpoint, you're super grateful when your forwards can bail you out in one of those games where you let in a leaky goal or two. Just like I know your forwards and defensemen are so happy when you make that save on the mistake that and the turnover or whatever that they made in front of you. They're like, oh, thank you for doing that. It goes the same way when a goalie sees you put up a 5 spot when you let up 3, and 2 of them were questionable.
One thing I liked
go ahead.
No, one thing I liked about how Florida mauled, that team across the river was, when you talk about shots on goal, but then the shots attempted, so it was like, okay, they may have had 34 that registered, but it's like 60 were blocked, and all that. And it's like, if you can pin them in the offensive zone, the puck in the offensive zone, it's also great defense. It helps your goaltender out because that is puck possession. That's puck management. And they did such a great job of that, Florida.
Yeah.
And I would just love the Devils to just replicate all of that, because in today's NHL, I think it's exciting, all the offensive chances, but I mean, just seeing, I remember like the stats, I think they had in game 2, like 102 or 104 attempts.
Shot attempts.
Yeah. It's just ridiculous. Ridiculous.
Dude, they were dominant, like all the way through. And speaking of, out of Lafreniere, like none of those guys from that other team really performed in that conference finals. And the moment that I saw Kreider try to rip out Tkachuk's mouthpiece and everything, that whole scene, I was like, Tkachuk is totally under their skin. He is totally under their skin right now, and that is not good for those other guys. I mean, I just knew it right there. I was just like, he is finally and officially gotten into their heads. If it wasn't sure before that moment, I was just like,
oh yeah,
yep, there it is right there. Yep. He went and did it. Yep.
And the fact that he was able to retrieve it, wash it, and then put it back in his mouth again.
That is such.
I love the Neanderthal type players like Curtis Lazar. It's just, that's part of my beefalytics. That should be like part of the stats. N stands for Neanderthal. Do they have that in them?
But that is such a hockey player thing to do. Be like, it's not like the Panthers don't have a dentist on staff. Not like he probably doesn't have 4 other mouth guards. But no, you need that mouth guard, because that mouth guard has been with you since the start of the playoffs. You need that one to continue playing the playoffs. So it's such a hockey player thing to do. And the Panthers fans were not going to had Kreider done that at MSG, forget it. That mouth guard was gone. That mouth guard was gone. Someone would have cut it up, burnt it in the stands, something stupid.
I would put it on eBay.
If I was the opposing fan, I would absolutely do that.
I take the money and run. I'm not that loyal. By the way, I'm actually gonna pull out my old VCR
Nice.
as kind of a public service to those that want to watch their Stanley Cup videos on VHS and have no other way but to do that.
Oh, you're gonna lend it out to those that need to watch it, like pre '95.
Yeah, but I'll have to wait after June 4th. Anyway.
Oh man.
Either way, I love the way the Panthers played, and that's the kind of grit, determination, and team play that I would love to see the Devils.
Oh yeah.
Enact next season. And I just hope Fitzy's been watching this playoff run, because these teams have been hitting. They're not running away. Puck battles along the boards and everything like that. It's been key. It's been key. And buying into a system, not just throwing the same guys out there over and over and over again. Like you were saying, Short Sky, Paul Maurice, he laid his foot down there in the second round, and he went on a tirade. And you know what? The team has responded to it immensely. And they are all in on this system, and that system includes playing defense.
Yeah. Yeah. And the team did something similar last year, because Tkachuk called the team out towards the end of the regular season, and they responded in kind, and they wound up going on that run at the end of the season. So that team seems like it responds very well to when someone calls them out on their BS.
You mean their dad?
No,
Matthew's dad.
No, it wasn't Walt. It was. I want to say Matthew Tkachuk called them out at towards the end of the season. He said something.
I thought it was
no,
Keith
it wasn't
Tkachuk.
Walt.
It
wasn't.
I thought it was Keith
Matthew.
Tkachuk. I thought it was Keith Tkachuk on Sports Talk Radio in Toronto. I thought he called him out.
I could have swore it was Matthew Tkachuk that also called him out towards the end of the season, but either way, they got called out last season too, and they responded. Now the flip side to this is you shouldn't have to be called out to respond, but they responded pretty well. And as much as we want Fitzy to be watching this, we also want Sheldon Keefe to be watching this too, because he's going to be the other voice in the room saying, here's the system I plan to play, or here's the system I'd like to adopt, and I need player X, Y, and Z, at least one of those three players to fit in this system. So you also want Sheldon Keefe watching, to be able to build the system and to be in concert with Fitzgerald about like the players that he wants with the system that he's going to want to play. You just don't want Fitzgerald saying, "Hey, here's a bunch of players I got for you." You want Sheldon Keefe in that room as well. And what I really hope is that I really hope the analytics team is not really heavily involved to the point where Sheldon Keefe can't make good decisions.
I wish we knew.
I know.
And they got to look at this, because I think something that might be slipping everyone's mind. Don't forget that other team won 2 OT games in a row. Which can be immensely deflating for the Florida Panthers. And they went and they bounced back from that. 2 straight OT losses, and then they finally got one of their own.
Yeah.
But if you don't have a strong coach, if you don't have a team that's bought into that coach's system, you lose those 2 games, and it could be lights out. Especially the way they lost in the overtime, one at home, one on the road. That could just wipe a team out. But the Panthers responded, because Paul Maurice has control of that room. And he's got a good, solid core of leaders there that are ready and willing to get the job done. And you don't have people that, as Shorts Guy was saying, I'll say it again, not hogging the ice time. When it's time to get off, you get off.
Yeah. Yeah, and that also comes from a place of respect as well. They respect Paul Maurice to the point where they are willing to listen to him and go with it, and he respects them in kind as well. So that's what you hope that Sheldon Keefe's going to get out of this team. That it's going to be mutual respect, and
exactly
that they're going to listen to him, And also, he's going to be willing and open to talk to them. Like it's not a one-way street. Like that's the way coaching used to be. It's like, this is what we're going to do. Like, Vince Lombardi is one of the greatest coaches of all time, but more than likely, I highly doubt you can say, hey, Vince, I got an idea. I don't think that worked in a Vince Lombardi locker room. It was, oh yeah, you have an idea?
Hey,
I got an idea too. Get the hell out. Like you have to assume that Paul Maurice takes into account what his leaders like a Reinhardt and a Kachuk and a Bobrovsky, have to say about what's going on. And you want, kind of what you want from the coaching standpoint is you want to get your message to those guys. And then, if those guys are on your side and they're following you, the rest of the team is going to follow in kind. And that's really what you want. And I don't think that's what we had. I feel like our players were, our friend of the podcast, Justin from London, said that he always noticed that there seemed here we go. Anyway,
there he is. He's back.
Like I was saying, our friend of the podcast, Justin, was saying that he always tells me that he's seen them, the players come out in cliques. Like they weren't like a team. They weren't, cohesive. It seemed like it's, you want leadership. And I think we have the beginnings of really good leadership with Nico. Mm-hmm. It's just a matter of getting the rest of everyone in line. And Sheldon Keefe, I think that's going to be the first order of business. I mean, let's see what he does when it comes time for the preseason workouts to start. Like, my favorite soccer team, Liverpool, they have a new manager. He's calling all the players back 1 week early than originally scheduled, just to kind of get to know everyone and to put his new system into place. Like, is Sheldon Keefe gonna do something similar? Like, say, listen,
Can't
they're
do
gonna.
that. Can't do
yes, you can. You can do it.
The CBA won't allow that.
Well,
they're on a strict.
There's a pretty good CBA too with English soccer, the Players Association. So, but is Sheldon okay? So maybe not a week early, but is Sheldon Keefe going to do something to kind of put his stamp right from the beginning?
Yeah,
like say, hey guys, we're going to do this, and it's going to start day one. Like this is it. Like day one was going to be on such date. We're going to start day one 2 days early. Boom, here we go. Is it something? It doesn't have to be a week, Sam. But is it going to be something where Sheldon Keefe comes in and says, "All right, guess what? Day one, this is the new regime. This is what we're doing, and we're going to buy in. You have to buy in if you want to play in the system." And that's really what he has to do. He's got to have the nuts to say, like, "Listen, you guys have to buy in. This is all the fun and games."
I think he's going to be that kind of coach because look who he replaced. He replaced Mike Babcock. And
Mike Babcock was a disaster.
I mean, and Mitch Marner, some of the things he said about Babcock, and then you get a guy like Sheldon Keefe where everybody bought in. Mm-hmm. He got the most out of all those players. I mean, Austin Matthews is just like
regular season, but he also didn't have a goalie there, and that's what we need to address.
Yeah, and that's on Fitzy though. That's on Fitzy.
That's on Fitzy. You're right.
It's on Fitzy, but it's also on Keefe to talk to Fitzy and be like, listen, I know this guy is potentially available. I've worked with him before. Like potentially that could be a situation, or you would, at least in my mind, I would want Fitzy to talk to Keefe and be like, hey, listen, we have the possibility of getting this guy. What are your thoughts on this guy? Have you dealt with him before? Do you think he's coachable? Like that's the type of communication I would like to see from the general manager to the head coach. Because ultimately the head coach is the one who's got to work with these players one-on-one. It's not Fitzgerald. Mm-hmm. Fitzgerald gets to watch from the box. I want Fitzgerald and Keefe to be like, all right, here's the deal. This is just, I have this available and this available. Here's the numbers. Who do you think you can work with better? Like, it's like stats or whatever are great. The potential of a goalie is great. The potential of a player is great. But are they going to work in a Keefe system or not? And I think that's what they have to do. They have to come up
his own people. Do we know that?
I would assume so for assistant coaching. I mean, I don't think we've heard anything.
Lindy, but
I think I think McGill's coming back. I think a lot of the assistant coaches are scheduled to come back, unless I'm mistaken. But
okay,
if they are, that worries me. That worries.
Well, they got to get someone to replace Travis Green.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. True.
So,
true.
You guys just saw that too.
I
He has
just
no
saw
clue
that
what he's saying.
from Billy Dean. Oh, man.
I have said nothing to him all day. I've been trying to be a little bit respectful, Billy Dean.
What did he write?
Look, it's the first comment I've seen since
he's alive since last night. Yeah, since last night.
Yeah,
the first thing he says.
He disappeared.
It's been silence from the Billy Dean camp over there until moments ago.
I mean, honestly, I left him alone. You know,
so did
I left
so
him.
Did I.
Yeah, he was kind of like, okay, but I went after everybody else on Twitter.
Yeah. We saw.
We saw.
Oh, we saw.
Yeah, we saw. And if we didn't see, you screenshotted all of them and then sent them to us. Anyway.
I sent you the greatest hits. The greatest hits.
Did you get any blowback from all of that, Sammy, or what?
I don't really. Again, I don't get offended on Twitter. There were a couple questionable comments where I was like, all right, whatever. I rolled my eyes, but it's supposed to be fun. See, there's a difference. I wasn't trolling because I was just going on Twitter on my own account. I didn't go, into some like Facebook group or anything like that and just, let them have it. But I have been reading. I have been reading some because you see it on the news feed, and it's a sad day across the river.
See, you know what though? It's the one thing that I've realized in the last 7 years we've done this podcast. If Sam Wu does anything, Sam Wu keeps receipts because he makes his returns and he makes them big.
Yeah,
Sam Wu keeps receipts.
There were a lot of tweets. There were a lot of tweets on Saturday that didn't age well.
Oh man, Sam Wu keeps receipts. Everyone, in case you're wondering, in case you want to go after Sam Wu, was it at Sam Wu Primetime or whatever?
No, at Primetime Sam Wu.
At Primetime Sam Wu.
I was called
if you want
fat
to try
too.
To go.
I was called fat too.
I saw that.
Yeah, but I'm big
If
boned.
you want to go at Primetime Sam Wu, just know Sam Wu keeps receipts. And not just in a shoebox that he forgets about. Oh no, Sam Wu catalogs, saves.
He's got the screenshots.
Oh, and he brings them back out when the time is right. That's for damn sure.
Well, it's been a good. I mean, I will say this though, it's been a fantastic playoff run all around.
Oh,
these games, these series have been absolutely, top notch entertainment here. I'm not a big basketball guy, but I haven't even been hearing a peep about NBA. I don't know. Maybe that's just because I don't pay attention to it very much, but these hockey playoffs have been brilliant.
The only thing we heard about the NBA here in our area was because the Knicks were in it. But as soon as the Knicks were out, forget it. You heard nothing. But this is the time of the NHL playoffs that I actually hate because we've gone from...
You got to wait.
Yeah, we've gone from so much hockey. We've gone from 2 to 3 games a night, like 4 weeks ago, down to 1 game a night the last week and a half, to now after tonight, if the score holds like it is now, unless it's changed since I've looked last.
It's still 2-0, about 3 minutes left in the second. Mm-hmm.
Okay. If that score holds, we have no hockey until
Saturday. Yeah.
Saturday. Holy hell. Like, aside from the games that I got this week, that's it. Like, there's no hockey. It's you go from having everything to just this drought. And I really absolutely hate that drought. And even during the finals, it's like the first game will be Saturday. And I don't know. I know for travel days, they're doing 2 days. So I'm assuming it's going to be 8 and the 10th, and then 2 days in between to go between... Who would be the home team in that series between
Florida?
Florida would be home.
Wait, Florida or no? Dallas wouldn't. If Dallas wins, Dallas would be is the top seed left, right? But if Edmonton wins, then I think Florida is the home
then it's
team.
Florida. Yeah. So then it would be would be 8.
I was
probably
the assumption they would win.
Right? Yeah.
Well, yeah. So let's say Edmonton wins, so it would be 8 and 10 in Florida, and then 2 days off to go to Edmonton. And then probably, 10, 11, 12, 13, 15 And then it'll be 2 days in between the games 5, 6, and 7. Between game 4 and 5, 5 and 6, and 6 and 7 if they go that far. So we're really kind of getting down to the bare bones of hockey at this point. And that's the only thing I hate about the finals. Like if my team's not in it, it goes from like just this abundance of hockey to nothing.
Man, that first round of the playoffs is such a great.
It.
It's like it's like March Madness, with college basketball stuff where it's just like,
oh yeah,
there's just games on all the time.
Game.
Oh, that first round of the playoffs is just such a fun like week and a half of these of these series going on.
Yeah, and you have the better situation out there in the West Coast because the West Coast game started 7:30, and you're done by 10:30 late. Maybe 11 if it goes to overtime. Like the East Coast games start 4 in the afternoon.
4 in the afternoon.
So anyone that gets off work between 3 and 4, it's like from 4 o'clock. Damn James.
He's back.
So from like 4 to 10 or 11 on the West Coast, it's like you got it, and you still have an early bedtime. Here, it's like, it all starts at 7:30, and you're up until about 1.
Yeah,
which sucked for work the next day. And you hope it doesn't go to overtime.
I'm hoping it goes to overtime. See, for me, I'm just like, bring it on, baby.
Yeah, because overtime ends at midnight for you, and you're like, yeah, this is great. Mr. Metal Rockstar over there, it doesn't matter. You're probably not getting up till 3 in the afternoon anyway.
I wish.
Some of us have work the next morning, kind of early in the morning. I don't know if you've seen 6:30 in the morning recently, but some of us have to be up that early.
6:30 is usually still the night before for me.
Yeah, sorry, Mr. Rockstar.
It's funny because when we were last season,
Sam's already been at work for 2 hours.
And he's already dropped the hammer at least once by 6:30 in the morning.
What I was going to say is like, last season in the playoffs, it's like, what happens if the Devils go in 5 overtimes at home? Like, do we go to American Whiskey afterwards? And, are they allowed to be open, at that time, serving?
That's a good question. That's a good question because 2 a.m. or, 2 a.m. is generally closing time.
Yeah.
Those are the odd situations like game 6 of the 2012 finals. Like you couldn't, I know that overtime didn't last very long, but you couldn't get a beer.
Yeah.
Like you could not get a beer. I spiked a coffee into the ground because that's all that was available to drink was coffee. Coffee and Mrs. Fields. That was it. Like you could not get a beer. That's
Fields.
and the hell if I know if Mrs. Fields. The hell if I know if Mrs. Fields won the race that day on the Jumbotron because the stupid ice cream cone tends to win quite often. That's a good question, Sam.
I've been to 2, 3 overtime games.
What's the longest overtime game I've been to?
I think the longest one, the worst one was Game 5 against Dallas Cup Finals. Because I think the game started at 9. I think the game started at 9 p.m.
Was that the triple overtime or double overtime?
Triple. That's when Malakoff missed his assignment, and Madonna went in.
That was 1-0, right? Or was that 2-1? That was 1-0.
1-0.
Yeah.
That's the worst. That's the worst. Like you're all amped up thinking you're going to see the cup that night.
Yeah. I was at Game 6 against Colorado in 2001.
Yeah,
you're thinking this is it. And then the league's like, nope, the script is a Game 7.
I was offered so much money cash for the 2 tickets, and it was tempting.
I'm sure.
It was tempting.
I'm sure.
You just say no. I think if I remember, I believe he offered $1,800 each. It was cash.
Wow.
It was cash, and he had the cash on him. Yeah.
And I will say, if I have to see that friggin' ESPN Cup commercial one more time where it ends with Dan Messier jumping and then Ray Bork, I'm like, like double right at the end of that commercial each time. I'm like,
Yeah.
And then they said Mission 16W. If you go to the Colorado Stanley Cup video, it's all Mission 16W. And 16W is ours.
That was 95. That was 95. That was 16W.
But if you go to the Colorado 2001 Stanley Cup video, they're all like 16. Yeah, I'm actually in that video.
Are you?
Oh,
in the Colorado? Yeah, I tried in 2000 and 2003 to get in the Devil's Cup video, but I wound up in 2001 on the Colorado's rigged Stanley Cup. Me and my conspiracy theories.
You've never had one? I've never heard you have a conspiracy theory.
I've never heard of this before.
I've had a lot.
Sam Wood, a conspiracy theory?
I mean, they basically handed the Rangers this season the cup, but they suck so bad that they couldn't finish it off.
Well, Florida had different ideas about that.
Yeah.
And
yep. It wasn't in the script. They went off script.
In my mind, I think the better team won in that series. Yeah. Like I said, if it wasn't for Shesterkin, standing on his head through the majority of this,
it would have been a sweep.
It would, the Panthers would have trounced them. I mean, Bobrovsky's playing, lights out. And like we said, the Panthers are they're just such a solid team, and they're big. And if you want to go and try and play physical with them, they're just going to say, yeah, sure, let's do it.
Mm-hmm.
Good luck to you, because it's probably not going to work out. And they can score goals. They have those snipers, and they have it must kind of similar to New Jersey on their first run there to the finals. In 94, we all know what happened. And then 95 the next year, Florida, they got to the finals, and they didn't get the job done. Now this year, they look like a team that is determined to finish this off. Whether it's Dallas or Edmonton, whoever gets in, I don't think Florida is, concerned either way. Whether it's the Stars, who are also a very well-rounded team, or whether it's Edmonton's going to be coming at you with speed and a lot of, firepower there up front. If it's Edmonton, they're just going to hit the living hell out of them. And
you know what? I'm going to add something to that, guys, that I just thought of.
Mm-hmm.
Assuming it's Edmonton and Florida, there's some bad blood, because that's kind of a little mini battle of Alberta, because you got a lot of old Calgary guys on Florida's current team. And they had some battles. Because I was watching.
Good call.
I was watching some fist fights. Those two going at it. So I'm kind of wondering if old wounds will be not to hype up the storyline like ESPN would, but I'm just kind of curious how that would go. Matthew Tkachuk, I believe Sam Bennett, wasn't he on Calgary as well?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
Let me look that up now.
I mean, that trade. I mean, think where Florida came from. They came from Joel Quenneville right out of the gate, like 10-0 or something like that. Then you had that expulsion practically. Then Brunette comes in. Brunette got him.
Brought them the President's Trophy, and they fired him.
And then they make the big trade. You hire Paul Maurice. Then they got called out by Keith Tkachuk in late March of last season.
So it was Keith Tkachuk that did it.
Yeah. And then saying they were too soft. And then they go on the run.
Bennett was on Calgary.
Yeah. So I'm wondering if there's going to be, because they would know Edmonton pretty well. And I think it could get ugly. And that's what I want to see.
And that's the other thing too. The Edmonton fans, because they were on Calgary, are just gonna reignite that hate for those players as well, and for the Panthers team.
Plus, you have a chance of Canada actually winning the Cup on home soil, possibly for the first time in over 3 decades. Will
since
the country
93.
of Canada just
since
support
Montreal,
them?
right? Yeah,
since '93.
Yeah, they came close with Vancouver. They got mad afterwards.
And then
Did Canada? Did the Canadians, did they win at home? I can't remember. Was that on home ice that they clinched?
I think they did, because I think in my mind I remember Waugh lifting that cup in a white jersey.
Okay.
That's a good question.
That's when teams used to wear the white at home.
They beat the Kings, right?
Kings.
They beat the Kings. They beat the Kings, yeah.
I'll tell you what, I'll never forget that Maple Leafs Kings series in '93 in the Western Conference Finals. That's brutal.
Weird thinking about Toronto in the West. That's just weird
that was brutal. Doug Gilmour, just all those guys going at it. Wayne Gretzky,
Montreal won at home. Montreal won at home in Game 5.
They won at home.
They won at home in Game 5. Yeah, and I thought so. Like, there's an enduring picture of Patrick Waugh holding the Stanley Cup in a white jersey that it just is burned into my mind from. There it is. Right, I just found it.
I think I remember the Sports Illustrated cover. He was in the white jersey as well, if I'm not mistaken. So
yeah, and that's just an iconic picture of him. And I just found.
I'm just seeing him on my TV because they're in the second intermission right now. What do you think? What do you think? Legendary Washington Capitals goalie Henrik Lundqvist is thinking right
now? Capital legend Henrik Lundqvist.
He's just probably sitting there like, "Yep, seen this before."
Oh yeah.
If you're in that situation, would you be upset or would you be like relieved? Like, someone else is going through this now. Yeah,
and it wasn't.
If you were like,
I think it's a mix of both. Because it's a mix of both. Because say what you want about, I've gained a lot more respect for Henrik Lundqvist since he's retired. Because as an analyst, he's good.
He's good.
He's really good. He can pick apart goaltenders really well. And not just like being like, oh, this guy sucks, but like he's really intelligent when it comes to the goaltending position. So I've come to respect him a lot. Plus, he's a sharp dresser. I got to give him that. Like I got to give him a ton of credit for that. As a Ranger, I hated him, but I do know like he does love that team through and through, and I feel like he didn't want to leave, but he had to. And I think as much as he wanted to see them win, like genuinely see them win. And not like the stupid Mark Messier, like, everything is right that the Rangers do, no matter what Trouba does. Sorry, my elbow was a little bit low. I think Henrik Lundqvist probably does have a just in the back of his mind going like, I know the feeling. If he doesn't if he doesn't have that feeling of like, well, at least it's someone else. Like at least he can relate to Shesterkin, which. Unfortunately, could work to the Rangers' benefit because Shesterkin has someone to talk to, which I'm sure there's conversation between the two of them if it's available or if he wants it. It could be someone that Lundqvist could be someone Shesterkin could talk to about being in that situation and hopefully not correct it, but
we harassed him so good that game.
Oh, we did.
6.
We did.
I think I remember. Do you remember there was a TV timeout and we were chanting Henrik? And I think it actually went throughout the TV timeout, just nonstop, just yelling his name.
I don't remember that.
I think it was like 2 minutes long. Like it was just constant, just yelling Henrik. It's got to get annoying. It's got to get annoying after a while.
I will say one thing that I thought was hysterical that Messier said on like one of the intermissions or the pre-games or something like that. PK was like, "Oh, they should get Rempe into the lineup, or he's in the lineup tonight." And Messier just went, "Yeah, he's not even going to play 5 minutes." It's just like
he knew.
Oh man! But either way, this playoff run has been phenomenal. All these series have been really, really good. The parity in this league, and I just hope the Devils are taking notice. I really hope they're taking notice because that team in these type of playoffs, they wouldn't last. They would not last.
Can I tell
not
you
going
something
against
that
they need to toughen up. They need to get into that system, and they need to play as a team. And they got to play defense. You got to play defense.
Yeah.
Can I tell you something?
Go ahead, Sam. Sorry.
Feel positive about Palat.
Let's hear it, Sam.
Palat, what he did in the Worlds, it's like, could you do this for your employer? And I think he had something to prove, and he didn't just like mail it in, have an off season. He went in and they won. That Worlds.
I'm glad he did it over there.
Yeah. They had a pretty nice party in Prague, so there's something you can look forward to when the Devils start their season there. But I'm hoping that there's a resurrection with Palat because you can't move that contract. And seeing the Rangers have Trocheck, have $5.6 million, one of those players that showed up in the playoffs. And other teams,
I'll give him that. He did.
Other teams have.
I thought that was an overpay as well for him. But he proved it in this playoffs. He really came through for them.
But the Devils need Palat because I know fans don't like him because he hasn't earned his pay at this point in terms of results.
Well, he did just in Tampa Bay.
Yeah, but at $6 million, I'm hoping that we get to see in his last 3 years of his contract that we get to see what we saw in Tampa. I'm hoping.
Oh. Well, we just got offered from my teammate Mike. We just got offered Trouba for $8 million. He's looking to get rid of his captain.
Well, help on the beefalytics.
How old is Palat? I don't even remember now.
33.
33. So the thing that troubles me with that, this is almost like the old New York Mets philosophy. If they just have a resurgent season, they can make it happen. They did before. I don't know. I hope he play. I mean, he's gonna hustle, but it hasn't worked so far with the Devils. It really hasn't. And again, you look at someone like a Sam Bennett who can bring what you're looking for in a Palat at a much cheaper price. I don't know. I want to see him rebound. I want to see him do good, obviously.
I just said
he wore the A.
he wore the A,
so he must be doing something right in that locker room. The guys must be looking up to him. So there's something there, but it just has not clicked yet in New Jersey. Maybe under someone like a Sheldon Keefe, it will.
Could change, yeah. Could change.
John Cooper has always had a really good handle on that team down there in Tampa, even with all the superstars that they have on there. He's always had a good feel for that team and kept them under control and, with the right mindset. Can Sheldon Keefe do that? That's what we're looking forward to this season. Can Sheldon Keefe be that head coach that's going to be here for a long period of time and set that standard for this particular team, a la like a John Cooper?
And also too, it's Palat with this tournament that he just won. Hopefully he's remembered how to win and what it's like to win and that feeling of winning that he can bring into this coming season as well. It's very well possible this winning this tournament could be huge for him, just to be like, yep, this is what I remember and this is what I need to do in order to to bring success back, into my NHL career. And to go for it, like just to get that winning taste again.
I mean, he's got to, because it's just, $6 million. That is a lot of money to be spending on this guy who's probably going to be playing on the third line. That's a lot. Yeah. It's a lot for a third line player there. And I know eventually the salary caps are going to go up and everything like that, and maybe, if he does stick around for the long run of his contract, it may not be as much of a hit once the salary caps go up. But right now, things are going to be a little tight for a little bit still. Because you know what? These player salaries are going up and up.
Oh, they are.
The salary cap is not jumping, very high.
Not this season, at least. Not this coming season. It's only, $4 million or projected to be $4 million if they haven't announced it yet. Yeah, and he's, 6 at 33, so he'll be 36 when his contract is over, assuming he doesn't turn, 34 in the next, 3 months.
And once he hits 35, he's got that protection, on that older contract. Yeah.
So technically they have – does he he has no movement clause too.
I think so, yeah. After 35, though. I think it's after 35 he's got a clause.
Okay.
I think that's what it is. You have to check. Oh, we have to check a cap friendly. I think his
that's
is like
what
specific
I'm on now.
to that. I think
that's
his is specific to that.
Clause, no movement. See, there's a no movement clause and then a modified. I guess it's a modified no movement clause.
I think before he hits 35, it's modified, and then after that, I think that's what it is with his deal. I could be mistaken.
After this coming. It would. Yeah.
Yeah.
It would. It's NTC. So I don't know. So
but
it's
these player salaries are jumping. Remember when $6 million was like tops in the league?
Yeah.
Now you got guys. Now you got that's like almost average now. You got guys that are jumping, but the salary cap has not jumped that much as the salaries have grown.
So, but this is interesting. It seemed like he was looking more at his contract now. It seems like, although it's a $6 million cap hit, his base salary it's mostly performance based for this coming season. So he has to work to get his base salary for the season is 1.7. The bonuses are 3.1. So he has actually work. Last season was the most in the base salary department at 3.5. So he actually has to work to get bonuses next season.
But his cap hit is what kills us.
It's still $6 million, but and agreed that kills us. But he's only going to make roughly about half of what he made last year unless he hits his bonuses.
Well, he better get his butt in gear then. That's what I say.
If he wants bonuses, he better get his butt in gear. So that could be to our benefit.
We shall see. We shall see.
Yeah, and then it's starting.
We got
July
the draft
1st,
coming up soon too. We got to start looking
1st.
at some of these. Yeah, we got to start looking at some of these. These prospects. Number 10 pick.
Just to wrap up, Palat starting July 1st, 2025. He submits a 10-team trade list. So it's after next season.
Okay.
Also, I want to put in other nugget in there that probably everyone would hate me for saying.
Chicken nugget?
Yeah, that
nope. You, Samwu.
Jesper Bratt's no movement clause starts July 1.
Oh.
Don't want to start rumors. I'm just saying I'm on cap friendly right now.
Well, listen, we can't really talk about much because if we talk about something too much, people get annoyed. And then when other podcasts talk about things,
and they bitch on Reddit, right?
Yeah. People will bitch, and then it'll be said by another podcast that's quote more reputable on close quote. Then it's possible to talk about it, but until then, we're just talking out of our butts because we don't know anything apparently.
Yeah.
Nothing. We know nothing.
Just like Brendan Smith putting his Westfield house up for sale. It's been a slow news day when we have to talk about that.
Uh-oh. Codex over here sounds like Bradford Brady. Oh, look out. You're going to start rumors now.
Oh, no. Uh-oh.
You're going to start rumors.
Can't talk like that. Talk like that.
Billy Dean has been trying to start rumors on the Hockey on Tap Twitter account.
Of what? James Dolan living rent-free in Shorts Guy's head? Is that the
No, James Dolan does not live rent-free in my head. James Dolan gets money from me monthly. Even though it's not internet-based anymore, it's still a stupid cable company, so it's not rent-free. The guy takes money from me every month. That's a clown, and his band sucks.
Oh man,
we should go to one of his concerts and just boo him.
Oh, he'll have us kicked out. So a buddy of mine, I don't want to out him. I don't want to out him unless he wants to out himself in the chat. But a buddy of mine works for Dolan's company, and said that Dolan used to promote his band to all the employees of the company, and everyone hated it. So
I could tell you guys a little story about that off air, not on air.
Okay,
off air. Yeah,
we should invite James Dolan and his band to play at at American Whiskey.
Do you think his band's going to play the draft? Do you think his band's going to play the draft?
I think
Dolan's
so.
Ball?
Can you imagine?
Dolan's ball sack.
Yeah, they probably will be opening up the sphere,
Yeah, probably
for the draft. I didn't even think about that. Good
call. It's possible. It's possible.
What is it? What's the band called? Like JD and there's
JD Southerner.
Of course, he named the band after himself.
That's his pseudonym there or whatever. Alter ego. Oh boy.
Now we're going off the rails again.
We're off the rails.
It's off season. It's gonna listen. Everyone better buckle up because come July 25th, when it's really nothing to talk about, then we're really going off the rails.
When are they going to come out with the NHL schedule? Is it going to be late June?
Well, now that the new team is in Utah, they were going to put out 2 schedules based on Utah, Arizona. But now that team is in Utah, I want to say that schedule should just be one schedule.
Did they pick a name yet?
No, they're just going to be the Utah Hockey Club or something like that for the first season.
What?
Yep.
Oh, man.
Yep.
Come on, guys.
Should have been the Super Soakers, but...
there's so many easy ones there. I mean, come on. Just be like, the Grizzlies or the...
Grizzlies is the team already in Utah. Grizzlies is already there.
I think part of the problem, guys, is it's a lot of it's trademarks and all that, and you get all these trolls out there that, like, you got to pay them off to get that.
Well, because you know all those potential names. If they didn't buy them, someone else was smart enough and bought it.
Yeah,
bought the trademark.
You don't want to be like David Blitzer's team. The Guardians that was named after a roller skating, derby league or roller derby.
No, they're not named after the Guardians. Are not named after that. Cleveland?
Cleveland Guardians. The Cleveland Guardians. They didn't even do a check. They just changed the name from the Indians to the Guardians. And the ClevelandGuardians.com is some roller derby, and they had that name
I thought, okay.
Yeah, and they were just like, yeah, we're going to take it. Too bad, so sad. Just like that.
I thought you meant that they didn't, okay. All right.
Yeah.
I get what you're saying now. All right.
Yeah.
Utah door knockers.
The door knockers. What was the abominable snowman one?
The Yeti. Someone just said
the Yetis. Yeah. The Utah Yetis.
Troy in the group just said the Yeti.
Oh, there it is. Yeah. Yeah, Troy. Venom. That's a good one too. Utah Venom. The Salt Shakers.
I still think.
Oh boy.
The Super Soakers. I still think Super Soakers is the team.
Do you think I can annoy those fans out there in Utah? Aren't they nice people?
Yeah. Sam, you can annoy anybody.
You can annoy
the Girl Scouts of all people.
The hockey team's going to go up there, and then they're going to realize there's no alcohol in there because of Mormon country.
There's no alcohol in that arena?
There's no alcohol in that area. Remember when they had the Olympics there, and everyone was just like, "What the hell's going on? Why is there no alcohol here? Everything is lowered alcohol percentage." And
it's percentage, yeah. So what do we get? So
it's 2% alcohol in a beer.
So are you going to have to drive from California to Utah for us to have good beer when we go out there for the trip?
Probably. We have to go over the border and back. Yeah.
All right.
Crew Brew is kind of.
Or just ship it up from Nevada. Don't worry, they got good stuff there. Don't worry.
Oh yeah, they do. Yeah, they do.
Take a trip down to Reno and back.
I'm down. Count me in. Count me in. Whatever the closest border is, we'll go over there and buy it.
The Utah aliens. Now, it would be more New Mexico, I think.
Yeah, that's more New Mexico.
I like the Yetis. I think they should go with the Yetis. Venom is cool too. I like the Venom. The Book of Mormons, the Bookers. By the way, if you want to go see a funny play, go see Book of Mormon because it's absolutely hysterical. If you've never seen it, I don't know if it's still I don't know if it's still on Broadway, but
I think it is.
You will laugh. No,
it's all I've ever heard. It's all I've ever heard.
Nonstop
when you get the guys from South Park writing something, it's going to be hysterical.
And they love musicals too. I mean, South Park has done so many musical episodes.
I know.
Like that. They love that stuff, and the research that they did going into that, like, is just it's so hysterical. If you've never seen it, you want a good vulgar time on Broadway, go see Book of Mormon. Highly recommend it.
All right.
Should I take Mrs. Wu to that?
Yes.
Oh, without a doubt. Without a doubt.
Okay.
Yep.
You will fall out of your seat laughing. Honestly. It is so damn good. It's insanely funny.
Well,
perfect.
I got something to do this
I saw
summer.
it years and years and years ago. Who's the guy that I can't remember his name. He's kind of like a famous actor now. Josh Gad. I think he did like the Frozen. I think he was one of the voices of that Frozen movie. He was one of the original.
You're assuming I've seen Frozen.
He's been. If you see his face, you would be like, "Oh, I think I recognize that guy." He's more like a kind of like a not a leading, actor, but like a supporting actor.
I'm looking up.
He did some show with. He did some show with Billy Crystal, I think, as well. He was like the
Wedding
supporting...
Singer. He was in Wedding Singer and a bunch of other stuff that I've not seen. But yeah, I recognize the face.
Yeah. He was one of the original run of it. He was like the best friend character in the play. So, but absolutely hysterical if you've never seen Book of Mormon.
All right. Definitely.
The Utah Mammoth. Okay.
That's a pretty rad one.
The Utah Skinwalkers. Oh, man. Oh, boy. Just pick a name, guys. Yeah. Go with it already. Have a vote. Let's get it done.
The Utah Bees. They're the Beehive State.
Are they?
It's the Beehive State.
Yeah, they should go with Mammoth. Remember in Arizona they had, Fear the Stick?
Fear the Fork?
Yeah, Fear the Fork.
Yeah, Fear the Fork.
Fear the Tusk in their arena. Fear the Tusk.
Fear the Tusk.
Let's go.
I don't know. It doesn't really roll off the tongue.
Yeah, you can sell tusks.
Fear the
you
Fork.
Can sell tusks and then bang them around like those thunder sticks.
Thunder Tusk. Okay, I'll go with Thunder Tusk instead.
Thunder Tusk. They got to be the mammoth. And their mascot being a mammoth, it'd be freaking awesome.
Well, that's a woolly mammoth.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just looking up. I was like, a mammoth. What does a mammoth look like? And this is what came up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you not know what a mammoth looked like? Did you not know what a mammoth looked like?
Well, I just wanted to see what it would look.
Maybe they could replace the tusk with a hockey stick.
Extinct?
For the logo.
Aren't they extinct?
Oh no, they're running around everywhere. They haven't been extinct for like a million years or so.
One just ran by the window here now.
Oh, okay. Fear the Tusk. See, I'm already giving marketing ideas.
Yeah, don't do that.
Man.
Patent pending.
You can
patent pending.
You come out here to LA, they're digging them up like left and right around here. So all the La Brea tar pits and everything. They get mammoths. So they've been trying to build a subway since I've moved out here, and they have to stop like every 2 months because they run into like some sort of woolly mammoth buried down there.
That's my sister lived in Alexandria, Virginia, and that's every time they would go to build something new, they'd always like dig up something from like the Revolutionary period. They would have to stop everything.
Yeah,
and they would have to excavate, which I'm cool with. I'm fine with being a history person, but it kind of delays things.
Yeah. It's so sad too. You go by the tar pits and they have this scene of like a baby mammoth, a mama mammoth, and then like the dad being stuck in the tar pits, like can't get out. It's just like, oh man, come on, guys, have a heart. Jeez.
Hey, well, nature sucks. Nature's cruel.
The Utah Jesus briefs. How about the Utah Jesus abs? How about that one? Oh boy, the Utah Utes. There we go.
That's a college name. They can't do it.
The Utes. The Utah Cartmen.
They could do it. I mean, look what the Knights did with the Golden Knights. Army.
Well, but they're the Black Knights.
They're the Black Knights. Rutgers is the Scarlet Knights.
Yep.
You can do it different. Yeah.
There was a.
How about the Mormon Utes?
There was the Mormon Utes. There you go.
There you go.
I still think the Super Soakers is the winner.
Now, are these like the Utes, like My Cousin Vinny, 2 Utes type of thing, or is this
2 Utes running around town?
Mud in your tires? Oh, sure. I just never seen a grit before. Yeah, I love grits.
Final thoughts.
All right, we should wrap this up.
Yeah, final thoughts. 10-14. Yeah, 10-14. Final thoughts.
Final thoughts. Pick a damn name, Utah. That's my final thought. Make sure it's good.
All right. My final thought is go Cats go.
Oh, by the way, what are we at? About 12 minutes left here in the third. Still 2-0. And the Oilers only have 8 shots on goal.
Oh my god.
And the Stars are at I think that says 28. I can't see if that's 28 or 29 shots for the Stars. So Skinner does better. Through.
Skinner does better when he has more than 24 shots, so that's what they were looking at.
My final thoughts. I hope we go 7 games. The Stanley Cup Finals.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect.
I'd like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of cool.
Good long Cup Final.
Nothing beats
like a
game 7. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna hit the music. There we go.
Boom.
Max just texted me. He wants me to show something. I don't know what he wants me to show. Oh, he wanted me to show this. Anyway. All right. Want to thank all those tuning in, dropping the podcast at midnight. Go to joinourcrew.com for the latest and greatest news that's coming out in about 4 months. So sign up now. Till next time, let's go Devils.